Hi kids! Today we're going to continue with meiosis. So in our previous video, I've already told you the whole picture of meiosis. Before meiosis, there is interphase, and then meiosis is split into two parts, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And between each meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, there is a cytokinesis. Now, within meiosis 1, it is divided into the four parts: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, all with the number 1. In meiosis 2, the same thing happens. It also has prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, but now it's prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. Now the concept that occurs is still the same. In prophase, it is always the DNA thread, chromatin, becoming a chromosome. In metaphase, it is always the chromosomes lining up. In anaphase, it's always the chromosome splitting up, and in telophase, it's always forming a new nuclear membrane. It doesn't matter whether this occurs during mitosis or during meiosis 1 or during meiosis 2. It is still the same concept. The only difference is which chromosomes are doing the work. Now, let's see what happens. So, what happens is we start with a normal cell. This cell has 4 chromosomes. Because there is still homologous chromosomes, remember homologous chromosomes are chromosomes that are the same size and carry the same type of information. So, there are 2 sets of homologous chromosomes, so we call it 2n equals to 4. Okay, and this is known as a diploid cell. Now, during meiosis, what we want to do is we want to halve that genetic information in the end. But before that, there is also an interphase. An interphase is where DNA replication occurs. So you see here there's one strand, it becomes a double strand with sister chromatids. So everything doubles. Now when we go to meiosis 1, the homologous chromosomes split apart. Okay? Now, in the previous video, we've already talked about prophase. Prophase is where the homologous chromosomes get together. Okay? Now, during prophase 1, there is this part here called a chiasma, and where they do something called crossing over. Now, crossing over means that the blue chromosomes and the green chromosomes control the same trait, but they control different aspects. It's like having 2 biology books, but one has 2 different publishers, or one is in English and one is in BM. Okay, but basically they have the same kind, they control the same kind of information, same characteristics. Chemistry. Alright, or they can be controlling the same trait. In human genes, maybe it's eye color. It's both eye color, but it could be green eyes and blue eyes. So what happens is, if we just allow them to split, it's a bit boring. Everybody will have the same kind of genes. But what we need to do is we need to have them mix up a little bit. So what happens is, this is called crossing over. Now, after they have crossed over, basically, this part that used to be green is now blue. And this part that used to be blue is now green. Okay, the same applies for the smaller chromosome. Now, you may not be able to see it very clearly, but later when they split up, I will draw again. So what happens is, that is prophase 1. Prophase 1, the key thing is crossing over between sister chromatids, and it's not the whole section, it's just small sections. Okay, now this is to cause that they will have variation. What do I mean by variation? You will see at the end of it. Now, after prophase 1, that is metaphase 1. So metaphase 1 is always line up. Now, instead of lining up 1 by 1, they line up 2 by 2, because the homologous chromosomes don't want to split up. So they still line up in the equator or the metaphase plate, but now they line up 2 by 2. Alright, so after metaphase is what? Anaphase. Anaphase is always split up. So now the homologous chromosomes split up. So that is the key thing that occurs during meiosis. So during anaphase, anaphase is to split up, and the homologous chromosomes split up. Alright, so remember just now I told you they already had crossing over. So this is a green chromosome with a little bit of blue. This is a blue chromosome with a little bit of green. They have exchanged some information. The same applies to the other pair of homologous chromosome. So remember, anaphase is to split up. Anaphase 1, the homologous chromosomes split up, okay, and they are moved to opposite poles of the cell. Each chromosome still has 2 sister chromatids. After anaphase, they finally manage to split them up. You have to quickly envelope them in the nuclear membrane. So telophase is always forming the new nuclear membrane. So as a summary, let's look at the end of meiosis 1. Okay, at the end of meiosis 1, what happens is now they had crossing over, right? So it's a green chromosome with a little bit of blue and a blue chromosome with a little bit of green. Okay, and most importantly, one homologous chromosome goes to one cell, the other homologous chromosomes to the other cell. So this is the end of meiosis 1. We'll continue with meiosis 2 in the next video. See you.